This is the Jug O Sip podcast.
I wanted to learn how to write a strong female in a very weird situation. And if you haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, especially if you're a woman, for the love of God, play that game. It is an excellent video game. It also has a feminist message to it at the end. It's got a maternal slant to it. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, because if I do, it'll ruin the game. It was an excellent video game. Please play that game.
I love that about you, though, that you'll play games with like female energy, so you can get the idea of writing feminine energy characters, or female characters.
Oh, it's even deeper than that.
I enjoy that because not most guys won't put that much thought into it. One
of my favorite video game series of all time is Mass Effect. I've played through and beaten all 3 Mass Effect games 4-ish times.
We gotta get one of my friends that play Mass Effect on here at some point, so you guys can talk about that, because I don't play that game.
Yes, the first time I played Mass Effect, I played all the way through as a male, a black dude. I really wish that they had the courage to because there's a lot of talk about racism in that game, and it's future racism. It's fantastic racism. So I guess when you got aliens that look like literal Jello, it's hard to pay attention to black dudes next to you. So that being said, I can see why they didn't go into that.
When people wish for racism to end, we need to be specific that it ain't shit like that.
Right. I just wish that they went in that direction with it, because representation for black people in video games has been a problem since the beginning of the industry. I mean, I'm a person that's getting into character design. I do a lot of 3D modeling work. In fact, our Jug O Sip logo that you're probably looking at right now is a 3D model that I made and animated myself. One of the problems in 3D modeling when it comes to models is the fact that black people are underrepresented. A lot of the programs,
just like in everything else,
a lot of the programs that are designed to make hair simulations, they have to be messed with pretty, like you have to go in and change around the metrics of those simulations just to get hair textures that look like a black person's hair texture. That being said, I played Mass Effect. They got the hair wrong in that too. And because the only way you could get a low fade or a dark Caesar is if you have what's quote unquote no hair, and because bald is a hairstyle, but no hair looks like a black person's low fade, which is crazy to me. Still to this day they do this,
and I'm surprised they still do that. Like back in the, you expect that shit back in the 90s, but like in the early 2000s, but not this.
Well, it's
20 years or more later.
To play devil's advocate, I don't necessarily believe that there's a bunch of racists working at these video game industries.
It might just be figuring out the texturing too. I don't know, because
it's not that
it's hard.
It's not that. It's just the fact that because of the history of black people doing their best to break into industries in the West, and every step of the way we've been disenfranchised.
Yeah,
you get to a point where that many years, that many centuries of disenfranchising black people is going to lead to an industry that doesn't have a lot of black people a part of it.
It bleeds into the pores of the fucking whole thing.
Right, exactly. But that being said, I played Mass Effect the first time all the way through from 1 to 3 as a black man. I played it the second time as a black woman. Totally different experience.
Really?
They because she was a woman, they reacted to her differently. The characters, I mean, not all of them did, but the characters reacted differently. She had, I think she was gay actually. She had a lesbian lover. That was reacted.
She was
different.
At least in the queer spectrum,
Yeah, no, she was gay. She was gay from the first game to the last.
Like straight lesbian, like straight up lesbian?
No, she was straight up lesbian.
Okay, that's what you said. You think she was gay. That's why I was like, at least at the very least, she's in the queer spectrum.
I think I played one playthrough where she ended up dating a character named Garrus Vicarian. He's male, but he's also an alien.
I mean, hell, even being a lesbian's on a spectrum. Queerdom is its own spectrum. It's its own thing.
Right.
Just be whatever the fuck you want to be.
Right, but but she for the more, I think I played one or two games with that where she was straight, but the first time I played it through, she was gay.
That's interesting.
I played through both genders because I knew these. I didn't know this. I believe that if the writing was as good as I felt it was in the first playthrough, I figure, well, if these writers would account for the gender switch, then if I play as a woman, then I'll get a different video game experience. And I was pleasantly surprised that I did. It wasn't a huge difference, but it was different enough.
This is a great jumping off point into the fractured butthole.
Yes, let's jump off into the fractured butthole.
The reason I say that is because you and I have both played that game. You played it all the way through. I've only played it in pieces.
Yeah.
But my character is a white girl. I mean, she almost looks almost identical to Wendy Testerberger.
You can find the Jug O Sip podcast on YouTube and Spotify every Monday and Friday.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow at Jug O Sip Podcast on all social media.